All right, everyone. We're here again for the Triangle Tennis Podcast. I'm your host, Matt Hanauer. Zach is taking a nice break. He'll be out in Canada for a couple of days. So it's just going to be me today hosting. But I've got with me not one, but two guests. These guys have two of the biggest forehands in the Triangle, and they have decades of experience of teaching and playing, and are just really two great, awesome dudes. And they individually, I don't think I could have gotten them, but together I was able to get both of them. So I was very happy. Welcome, Davis Humphries and Davis Felts. Good to see you guys. How you guys doing?
What's up?
What's up, man? What's up? Thanks, Matt, for having us.
Yeah, glad we were able to get everyone. It took Davis Humphries 2 computers and a phone to get here, but he has found his way to the podcast.
I think I'm going to get rid of AT&T. I think that's part of the issue. I think I'm going to go to Google Fiber or something different because, man, that took too long.
Yeah, AT&T is garbage. I wish I had. I get all these ads for Google Fiber, and I click on it every time, and it's never available in my area. They just keep teasing me. Yeah. It's like one of these days.
Hey, I have AT&T Fiber, and if they want to sponsor this podcast and give free Wi-Fi, they should.
Oh, that would be great.
That
would be great. AT&T Fiber. There's our next plug. All right, guys. Okay, we are going to start off with something a little different today. We're going to start off with a game. The game is going to be Guess That Triangle Tennis Player. So I'm going to have 3 of them here. So I'm going to have 3 hints for each player. So let me say all 3, and then you guys can guess. So the first one is, I am taller than most. I prefer singles. And I only hit first serves. Who am I?
Oh, Garrett Morris.
Ryan Seiko.
Yeah, it's Davis Humphries is right. Yeah.
Oh, come on now.
Who's Eric? Who's Eric? Who's this Eric guy? Does he only hit first serves too?
Garrett Morris. I mean, I've seen him play like twice, but he prefers singles. He's like 6'6" and plays, I think, out of Millbrook.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I didn't know about that. So we've got a twin. I would love to see the Seiko.
Yeah, I haven't seen Seiko play. I've seen his results, which seem pretty solid.
He hits a big ball. That match would be called the 100-mile-an-hour plus match, dude. Those serves are only going 100. Easy.
Yeah. Yeah, even when he warms up when I play him, he still like is smacking it like 85, 90. I've never seen him hit a serve under 70 ever.
Yeah, no. Was that the easy one, Matt? Was that the one that you think I was going to get for sure?
I think, yeah. There's another one I think you'll get, but that was the easiest one because I guess, well, apparently it's not as easy because more people just hit first serves in the Triangle. I didn't know that.
To be fair, he might have a killer second. I haven't seen it.
Nice. All right. I got our second player. Okay. I am the second best lobber in the Triangle. I am also a little taller than most, but my volleys are meh. Who am I?
I don't want to expose him, but is it Spencer?
That would be my guess.
Yep. Yes, it is. It is.
Yo, his volleys aren't that bad. I mean,
they're not that bad.
His volleys are not that bad.
He and I played one of the worst matches I played last year, and neither one of us volleyed well. And he was trying to carry me, and I was like teaching all day, and he was trying to carry me so hard, and I was like, Spencer, it's not carrying. You're gonna drag me, but I just had nothing for him, and I felt bad.
Was that like a carry match or something?
Yeah, it was carry, and he was just like, he came out with a lot of energy, and I was just like, yeah, I've got nothing for you.
He was ready to go, and you had nothing. You're like, nah, I'm good.
Nope.
So that was a carry match. How many times have you guys played with Spencer before?
I think I've played with him the most, maybe.
Yeah.
We played a lot on the Eno team that went to sectionals, Matt. We played a lot together, and we ended up playing one match at sectionals. And then we've played against Davis and Andrew recently.
Yeah.
That's probably the last time Oh no, it was Eno 5-0. I played with Spencer, and we held our own. I like playing with Spencer.
Yeah,
I've played with him one time, and I think that was enough for him.
He was like, "No, thank you, no, thank you. I've had enough of Felts."
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's all right. That's all right. I think I play with him quite a few times. We've had a lot of fun. I call him the second best lobber because I consider myself the best lobber in the triangle, and I think that's a fact.
It's fair.
You guys would be a nightmare.
We were very excited to play 5-0 because we were texting before I got hurt, and I was like, "We're playing 2 back, right?" And he's like, "Absolutely, 2 back the whole time for 5-0." Just lobbing the whole time. They would have gotten so mad at us.
No volleys.
Yeah, no volleys, nothing. Only lobs.
Lobs, drop shots. It's just it would have been a nightmare. They would have hated it. We probably would have gotten a grievance put on against us. Like, what the fuck are these guys doing?
Yeah, they got to be 5-5 ASAP. We got to get them 5-5 as soon as possible.
They're too good. Their lobs are too good.
Just kicked out of leagues.
Yeah. It's too annoying. Oh, I wish my lobs can. I've been playing a lot right-handed, and the lobs just aren't transitioning. Like, I think I hit a great lob in my backhand, and it goes like 2 feet over the net, and the guy just hits a winner. It's so frustrating.
I do think lefties are notorious for being better lobbers. I do think that is a trend.
Yeah.
There's something in our DNA. I do find, I don't know if it's other lefties, but everything I do, whether it's, so I play pickleball sometimes too, and everything I do, I always have some slice on it. Like I can't,
I think Davis would agree. Coming from 2 coaches, I tend to notice that lefties have easier access to all kinds of spin than a right-handed player. I feel like they don't have to try as hard.
Yeah, it's weird because you very rarely see a lefty that you're like, oh my god, that looks really good. I saw one today at a junior tournament, and I was like, oh, that's a lefty who just looks like great strokes. Because they're learning from righties, and so when you see one who's just got like the touch and the spin and all that stuff, it's like it kind of stands out. But again, when you're playing them, you're like, you want it to be that one. You want to play the lefty with good strokes because the lefty that chops everything and spins everything is the most annoying player to play.
Yep.
I'm talking about you. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yep. Oh, so that's interesting. So you think so do you guys teach a lot of lefties, and how do you approach that differently?
I have a couple lefties that I teach occasionally, but I teach one pretty regularly, and she's like, tall lefty going into 8th grade or 7th grade, and she wants to slice all of her forehands and slice all of her backhands and play the net, and I'm like, people are going to hate you. And it's fun because it's a little different. It challenges me, which I like. But she again is very athletic, and so it's like, I'm like, hey, look, you learn to serve, and we can slice your backhand if you want to sometimes because it's gonna just mess with people, and it just gives me a different thing to do, right?
Yeah.
And when she comes in and does a good job, you're like, that is so frustrating. She has siblings and she has girls that she plays with a lot, and you're watching them, and you're like. She wins sometimes, and you're like, it's almost just because how annoying it is for people to choose which side to hit to and all that stuff.
Yeah. Do you teach different strategies? Because like for me, I have a very specific strategy when I go in, and since I've been playing right-handed, it's so annoying because I cannot do that.
Yeah. I teach specific strategies in the sense of like, I'm like, your cross-court ball is going to their backhand, stay there. And then don't be afraid to go to their forehand with yours, because it's still like they're naturally just going to want to hit cross court with their backhand, so it's going to give you an opening a lot, right? If you pull them to their left a lot and push it back to their right, they're going to move a lot. It's easy because she doesn't have to have a crazy kick serve. She can slice her serve low to the backhand pretty easily, and she gets to have that, and we add other things as bonuses, whereas like a righty, I feel like if you slice it to their forehand as a righty, they're going to hit a good ball. So you got to develop that mean kick, and that takes a while.
Yeah.
So it's just that natural low lefty serve is terrible to play against.
Yeah, no, as I've been playing as a righty, I like getting these cross-court rallies, and I'm like, this is very annoying. It's going to their forehand.
Yeah.
So I'm like trying to go inside out, and it's just not going well. And I'm like, being a righty sucks. Or even the little bit of spin I get on it, it just spins right in their forehand. I'm like, well, that's worthless.
Every time.
Yeah.
One of the guys I played with in college, that I played with the most and against the most was a lefty. And so I like to hit my forehand now to what is righty's forehands because I was always trying to get at his backhand.
Yeah.
And it's, it's funny that it developed that way. But he had one of those skidding low serves, and it wasn't the fastest, but he messed so many people up with it, and it was fun to watch. It wasn't fun in practice, but it was fun to watch.
All right, so we have unfortunately lost David Humphries. I'm hoping we get him back later in the pod, but we are going to power through this. Okay, well, this one's good. So, Davis Felts, you probably won't know this one because this is someone who David Humphries has played with, and he knows the story, but we'll give you a chance to guess. Okay, third player. Okay. Don't judge me by my size. I prefer playing with John. Oh. Nope. Oh, that would have been a good guess. That's a good guess.
Josh is a fellow big boy, so I feel like I'm allowed to say that.
This is more of a height issue. Yeah, I prefer playing with John, but we'll play with Thomas. I have a temper that rivals Matt Hanauer.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So Davis Humphries will know this, and I'll tell the story. So this is Ben Albright.
Okay.
And it's
a different time of height. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he's short. Yeah, he's not.
I played one match.
He's not a tall man. He's not a tall man. So the story behind this, I don't think you've heard this, Davis. So we were at sectionals last year, and Thomas and Ben were playing a lot together, and they were playing really well. I think they won almost every match. And we were playing, I forget, some team. It was like our third match or so. And they were going to like introduce each other. And Thomas goes up and introduces himself as John to the other opponents. Thomas's middle name isn't John. Thomas doesn't have a nickname of John. There's nothing about Thomas that has to do with John, but he introduced himself as John to the opponents.
Nice.
And and like 3 seconds later, he had to apologize and be like, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know why I said my name was John. My name is Thomas.
That's okay. Was he nervous?
I was his like third match, and we had been doing this for a while. So I've talked to him about it many times, and no one really knows what happened. Or maybe this was like his first or second match, because after he introduced himself as John, they won like 2-2, and then they won the next match like 1-1. Like they just bulldozed everyone at sectionals.
Huh.
And so the joke is when Thomas plays well, he's John, and then when he plays like shit, it's Thomas.
Nice.
So that's kind of the running joke with that. And he does have a good temper too. It's up there with me.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So, all right.
No, I don't. I've played with Ben once. I played with Ben. Mm-hmm. You were on that team that I was on, the carry team and Ben and I lost to Josh and Blake, and then we did not win states.
Oh, you were in that match. Yeah, that's tough. That was
because a lot of you guys were on that went, and then it was like Cary versus Durham first match, and I was like, oh, and didn't go our way.
Yeah, we lose that match. Cary goes to state, so that's it. That's all there is. That's all she wrote. It really was that match. I feel like that was one of the, and I was getting my ass beat by Sean what's his last name? Hammer. Yeah, I was getting destroyed. So I wasn't really paying attention, and I was watching your guys' match because I knew I was going to lose. And I have never seen Josh play that well in my life. That's the best. You've probably played with him more. Have you seen him play better?
Josh plays well when he plays me, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if he hates me.
Josh Collins?
Oh, hey, look who's back.
Yeah, I play with Josh a lot. I think I got kicked out for somehow, but was the person Ben Albright?
Yes, you got it.
Thank God.
That's impressive. 6
I knew
I heard him say it, but I couldn't speak, so I knew. So I played with Josh a few times. So when I first joined the Durham group, I think Matt, you beat me 0-1 or 1-0.
Yeah,
I remember that.
In a Raleigh match, and I was pretty frustrated, and I was like, well, how can I play with some of these ballers? And I think you gave me my first opportunity to join a Germain team, and I got to play with Josh because I think they were linked together on that team.
Yeah. No, I remember playing you, and I was like, you and like Nick Gilder and a couple other guys, and I was like, these are going to be future doubles partners because you had all the strokes. It was just 90 degrees, and I was giving you moon balls, and you weren't. And you had been teaching for 8 hours. You weren't about that.
Yeah, at Optimus Park.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
Yeah.
It was messed up.
But no, I mean, it was that was great. Yeah, I remember us playing that match, and then we got you in, and then you guys clean. I mean, you were cleaning up in doubles, so it's been great.
That was a fun team.
Yeah, that was really fun. We've talked a little bit about coaching, but let's get into a couple more specific questions. So let's start. I'm going to start with Davis Felts first, and then Davis Humphries, and then jump in at any point. Do you guys have like a certain coaching style? Like, so I'm from Indiana, so Bobby Knight, he's everywhere. You can see the Indiana stuff in my background. Or are you guys more of like a Phil Jackson or somewhere in between? Talk about your coaching styles a little bit.
I watched probably Super Bowl twice as a kid, and that was my extent of watching sports growing up. It was never on at my house. It was never a thing. My parents would stay at home and not go to Super Bowl parties. For whatever reason, we just didn't watch sports. And so, what I learned from coaching, I learned from coaches I had or working at Raleigh Racquet Club. My first year or two in coaching was there. And my style, most people would say, is that I'm a sarcastic asshole. But I think that means that if I say you're doing a good job, at least you know that I mean it. And I think Davis can attest to that. I very rarely am super encouraging, and it's something I'm working on. It's on my vision board for the year.
Oh,
but
nice.
Yeah, I don't have one of those.
Oh, shoot. I was about to ask you what else was on your vision board. Sarcasm. My bad.
Yeah. But that would be my thing is I taught myself how to play for the most part. I had a high school coach. Other than that, I had a friend that played, and we watched a lot of YouTube videos and learned. I've been told that my only coaching skill is that I can say things where people can understand them. And that's my goal every day. Just say the same thing. I'm sure Davis will agree with this. Say the same thing 10 million times. And then sometimes it clicks, and sometimes you spend an hour and it doesn't.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What about you, Davis Humphries?
So, I mean, I've watched a lot of sports in my life. So, Phil, I would probably lean more towards like a Phil Jackson probably would be the one that I would go closer to. I try to motivate to the best that I can, but I'm also not someone that's going to be like, great shot as your ball goes over the fence. I'm going to tell you I'm going to tell you what I think. And if I think it looked bad or you did something wrong, I'm going to tell you. And then I also like to teach with questions. I like to ask them, what do you think you did wrong? You may not tell me the right thing, but as long as you're thinking about it, because I'm not going to be there the whole time. You got to be able to fix your strokes and your game on the fly. And if I'm not there to hold your hand for it, you got to be able to dissect it on your own. So that's kind of my style. I grew up with a coach that told me that he was very demeaning towards my game. If I missed one shot, you're awful. You're never going to be anything. You need to do better. And I do think that's what made me, a harder worker and someone when I did something good, I cheered myself on. I was very high energy.
Yeah.
And
okay.
That's what kind of kept me going when I was getting absolutely lambasted by my coach. So that's kind of what I try to instill in some of my players, especially my juniors, not really my adults.
That's really impressive because my dad had we're from Indiana, so he was more Bobby Knight, and I never had the positivity. It was just all negative. And you can see that in my game. We're very nice because we're from, I'm from the Midwest, but I will annihilate myself. Trying to get away from the racket throwing because, I don't like broken rackets, but visors are $10, so screw them.
That's right.
Yeah. Great.
There's a coach at Raleigh Racquet Club named William O'Connell who runs a tennis account called Recon on Instagram. And not to plug him, but he posted something one time. It was like, your job is to just facilitate the learning, and the game will teach them what they need to know. And sometimes I can take that to mean like I should just be quiet and not say anything. But it is true. I mean, if you're, we have kids, we have adults that take 4 lessons a week and don't play matches, and you're like, you're not going to learn anything. You can hit the ball well if I toss it to you or hit it to you or with a 4 or 5-5-0 coach, but you put them in a 2-5 clinic and they're going to cry. And they're like, I don't understand how this works.
So you talking about that a little bit. What's the balance? So like, what's the balance between lessons, drilling, playing match? What do you guys think? Maybe Davis Humphries, you can go first.
My rule of thumb is I tell them, and I don't like do a balance where like I tell them to do like a clinic, a lesson, and then maybe play a match in a week. I tell them, I want you to be on the court at a minimum of 3 times a week if you want to see exponential progression. And that could be a lesson, a clinic, or a match. It could be a lesson, 2 matches. It could be all clinics. Whatever gets you on the court at least 3 times a week, in my opinion, increases that progression. So you're reinforcing what you're learning and you're just getting the reps in, because this is a very repetition sport.
Makes sense. Davis Felts, what do you think? And feel free to just completely disagree with the other Davis.
This guy's an idiot.
Feel free to talk as much shit as you want.
No. I mean, I agree. We have members that play 7 days a week and go and lose matches because they're tired. And I'm like, hey, man, you probably shouldn't play 7 days a week. But I try to explain it to most of my parents of kids is like, the lesson is to teach you how to hit the ball, right? The clinic is so that you can, in a practice setting, figure out what it's like to hit against people who you will hit against in matches. And then matches are where you figure out what you're doing, it's right or wrong, and it gives you the most feedback. And so you got to do all 3 if you're trying to get better. I mean, I hate watching people go out and play 7 practice matches in a week. And I'm like, you could have hit, I mean, if you watch the best players in Raleigh, if they want to get a practice session in, they go 3 to 5 minutes short court. They go 10 minutes cross court forehands, or 10 minutes from the baseline, 10 minutes cross court forehands, 10 minute cross court backhands, serves and returns, and a couple volleys. And they're not out there for 4 hours a day. They are also just better than us, but
yeah. So what are some of your favorite drills? Like, what are the ones you think folks? Let's do maybe one of your favorites, and what do you think folks are getting the most out of? Go ahead, Davis. Yeah. Go ahead, Davis Felts.
Like for my juniors and my adults, I try to do kind of the same thing because I think they're all kind of trying to get better. Adults, you can be a little more laid back and fun, but I do a lot of with my juniors, like outside shot, cross court points, because I want it to be funneled into not being able to get out of it. And I think most tennis players, myself included, if you've ever seen me play, we don't want long points. It's uncomfortable. If you're 200 pounds, it definitely is uncomfortable. And you want to go cross court once and then slap a winner as best you can, and it doesn't work. But so I try to funnel a lot of drills into that. My personal favorite drill is a drill we did in college. It's called 90 Seconds in Hell. There's 2 players at the net, and then 1 person on the baseline on the other side. It's -1 for hitting the ball in the net, +1 if you win the point, and the coach would just feed the ball. Like he would drop shot you one time and then lob you the next time. And if you didn't run for it, the punishment outside of it is 10 sprints or something. And you're like, I'd rather just deal with the 90 seconds. That drill, favorite to do, to be the net player, to talk trash to the other person. Favorite to feed, to talk trash to the other person. Least favorite drill to be the runner.
Yeah. That sounds like playing Spencer, honestly. He just lobs you and brings you up. It's like playing Spencer, like for Davis Humphries, what about you?
So, I mean, my favorite drill, and Davis touches on it a little bit, is I like to do a lot of recovery drills. So I think one thing that, and I do that mostly for juniors, I think the one thing that they struggle with the most is they watch their ball too much after they hit it. And so they don't really recover correctly. So what I do, and I've been doing this a lot recently, is one player is the feeding side, the other side has to hit the ball cross court. So you'll feed the ball down the line, and you have to run and touch the singles line with your racket and hustle to get the ball that's being hit cross court, and then you play the point out. I think that's a great drill to work on recovery, working on like foot speed, being on the defensive, while the other person gets to be a little bit more aggressive. So it kind of touches both. But yeah, I call that drill that Dave was talking about, I call that hottie toddy. I do that in cardios quite a bit.
Yeah. Cardios, is that a different type of program you guys run?
Cardios, I do. Yeah, it's just for the adults to get out and get some exercise. Ours are about for an hour, and it's tennis based drills and games that just I just try to get people to fall on the ground when it's over. That's my goal. Feed as many balls as I can and get them to run, and just think of the most nightmarish drills that I could think of that get people going.
Well, great. You could just send me out there. I could just take care of that for you.
Yeah, just get a ball machine that plays like Matt.
Yeah.
Raleigh Racket Club has one of those.
Yeah. I need to patent that. Oh man.
The junk ball machine.
The junk ball machine. I love it. That's great. You talked a little bit about, you've talked about teaching adults, you talked about teaching juniors. What's the difference between, if there is any, between teaching different levels of juniors, adults, like high level juniors, beginning juniors? Like, how do you probably deal with a lot of different players. Like, what are the different strategies for different types of players? Maybe I'll go with Davis Humphries first.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll go for, I think Davis has more experience with this than I have. I haven't been doing teaching nearly as much as he has, but and he teaches much better players and adults than I do.
Not true.
I personally try to tailor what I can to the person. So I'm not going to do like a high intensity drill or lesson with that I would do with like maybe an 8 UTR kid that I would do with a 3-0 woman. Right. So you got to tailor the lesson plan to the player. You could still get your point across, whether it's I want to work on depth and getting your ground strokes to go deeper into the court to give you a more offensive position when you play. I'm going to make it a little bit more intense for the 8 UTR kid, and while I'm going to make it more educational and motivational for the 3-0 woman. I think and it mostly goes with your delivery, because my goal is still the same, in my opinion. But that's kind of how I go about it in regards to the difference of an 8 UTR versus a 3-0 woman.
Who the hell are these 8 UTR kids? Those must be those kids that play at Cary all the time I watch.
I mean, we have like one, so.
Yeah. I swear, every time I go to Cary Tennis Park, like there's just like 20, 30 kids that are just would demolish me every time. It's insane how good these kids are.
And you're talking about the 6-year-old girls, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh. It's crazy. So it sounds like Davis Felts, you have a lot of experience with a lot of different players as well. What about you?
Yeah, my experience has varied. I was at Raleigh Racket Club for a bit, and we had kids that were 12 UTRs, and
wow,
it was interesting to watch. When I was learning the most. I got to work with Paul Good, Thomas Mosier, and Carlos Garcia, and Brenton Bennett, and a lot of people over there who, I mean, the years combined of coaching is insane and very smart people. And then I went to a country club in Durham, and it was a lot of beginner kids and stuff like that. And I think you teach the same thing to everybody, right? There's 3 aspects really that you can teach. Take out the mental, and it's like you're doing their hands, which is technique, right? Like, can you swing the racket the right way? When you got a beginner, a lot of them don't know how to swing. They hit it over the fence the first 5 times. Then we go feet, right? Can you move to the ball? Before even moving to the ball, it's like, can you turn your hips and hit the ball in an open stance or a closed stance and all this stuff? And then there's the eyes, which is, I think, the hardest part, right? We can all stand still and hit a ball and look great. But when the ball's coming at you off of Ryan Sego's racket at 100 miles per hour, can you tell me which way it's going and all these things? And so everyone's at a different point of that. When you're doing a lot of the stuff with the higher, it always seemed like it was feet and eyes. They can already swing. You might tell them like, all right, you're a little late there or something like that. But it was like, hey, that ball needs to go cross court because you are 3 feet behind the baseline and on the run, and you're going down the line every time. It might be, look, your feet just aren't there. You need to get a little wider base and stuff like that with some of them. And so it just depends. You're always coaching, I feel like, one of those 3 things. And then you have the mental, which is, you can't teach that in tennis.
I was going to ask you guys that. So that's kind of one of the questions. Yeah. Do you spend a lot of time teaching any of the mental game, or do you focus really more on strategy and footwork and things like that?
I think I tend to try to, when it comes to mentality, I try to keep the energy high. I'm always trying to preach to my kids that, in between points, if you're walking around with your shoulders shrugged and your head down, that's low energy. I don't expect you to win the next point when I watch you play. When your head is up and you're looking at your strings or you're bouncing the ball, you're moving with some pep in your step, that's high energy. I think if you're like that all the time and you could be down 6-0, 5-0, love 40, I don't know if you're winning or losing because of your energy. And there are some kids that have that, and there are some kids that just don't have it. And it's, you can try to train it, but it's some kids are just born with it, and other kids just aren't.
Yeah, some kids you can tell will never have it.
Yeah.
I'm in an interesting spot with one of my kids who, Davis will know who I'm talking about, is my favorite student, has been my favorite student since I started at Seven Oaks. The most fun lessons. I went from, he was walking around with the tennis ball hopper around his neck, singing crab people, walk like crabs, talk like people. And he would pick up one ball with it around his neck and just put it in there.
Yeah.
And then he would walk and pick up the next one, sing the whole song again, pick up
before
one
he picked up the ball, he sang the whole song again.
Each time it was just that song, and there was something about him where you're like, you know, from our first lesson, his feet never stopped. He had good energy, and you play the betting game. It's like, is it gonna click, or is it? And he lost a tournament match this weekend, and one of the parents that knew him from crab people days was like, hey, is he even upset that he lost? And I was like, oh, as close to in tears out of anger as you could possibly get without being in tears out of anger that he lost the match. And I was like, I never thought we would get there.
Yeah.
It's again, the game and being a teenage boy and having your friends make fun of you.
Yeah.
When the group chat lights you up because you lost to a, 4 foot tall little Indian kid who drop shot you and lobbed you every time, you don't like losing that match after the second or third time.
Yeah.
So it's tough. It is. My job is to make them continue to play tennis.
Right.
Some of them aren't going to be professional tennis players. Rally Racket Club, a lot of those parents were spending $30,000 to $50,000 a year on their kids' tennis, and it gets crazy because they're doing a lesson every day. They're doing 4 hours of clinic every day. They're doing an hour of fitness sessions every day, and then on the weekends they're going to Alabama to play and lose in the first round and come back. Which now you have to lose at least twice, but it used to be you could get rounded very quickly, and you lose in the first round, you lose in the consolation. All right, welcome back home.
And so, all over again.
Wow. Do these parents genuinely think like my kid's gonna go pro? Like, are they serious? Like,
I think some do. Some have that kind of mentality that they think that their kid's the best at everything, no matter what. And then there are some parents that are realistic, that are like, well, if my kid puts in the work and the ethic, they have a chance. And then you have the ones that are like, my kid just really enjoys being coached by you. They love tennis, so we're just going to keep sending them. Please be their mentor type stuff. Like that stuff happens a lot too, which is nice to hear.
Yeah,
it is. You get some kids, man, and they're crying, and you're like, dude, I don't want to be here. It is 95 degrees. We've been here for 4 hours.
Yeah,
I get that it's hot. Like I want to cry too. I'm an adult, so I can't do it. I'm getting paid. But but you're like, those kids quit sometimes. They quit at 16 years old, and it's like the worst because you're like, he had potential or she had potential.
Yeah,
and so you get some of these kids that start at 13, and they might not go Division I, they might not play pro, but they have the best tennis careers. The longest lasting and the most fun and all that stuff, which is important.
Yeah, I think that's really important. That's why a lot of us are here. Some of us played college, some of us didn't, but we're all trying to make it as adults. Some of us have broken wrists and we're still out there playing right-handed because we just love playing. We just got to get out there and play. That's great. So I think Davis Humphries, your job's a little different from Felts, right? It's because you do like more of are you a director role now? Is that right, Davis Humphries?
I'm the assistant director of tennis and pickleball for my country club.
I was going to ask a little bit, like, what does a typical day-to-day for you guys look like? Because I know you guys have I think you guys have a little different roles, but it could be similar. So maybe Davis Humphries, you can go first.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, my typical day-to-day it's nothing like too different than Davis's. I would say that I am more readily available at the club. I'm there more often than I would be if I was at, because I work at the same racket club that Davis works at now. We work together there, so like I kind of know like but he's there obviously more than he was then, but I was not there nearly enough compared to where I am now. Like I'm clocking in my hours. I'm there at 7, 8 in the morning, and I probably won't leave till my last clinic ends at 7:30, 8 o'clock at night.
Wow.
But I'm doing stuff. If I'm not on the court, I'm writing
Yeah.
emails, answering questions, getting
Yeah.
people on teams, trying to manage complaints, trying to
Yeah.
manage food and beverage for events,
Yeah.
making sure that there's a multitude of stuff that's under my umbrella now that I got into this role about 6 months ago. But it's been a fun experience so far. I've enjoyed the challenge for sure. I didn't think I'd get here this fast because I've only really been teaching since 2020. That's when I started, when I moved back after being a sales rep in Des Moines, Iowa, of all places. So I'm very happy with where I'm at. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. I think the members really enjoy me, and I do love being on the court. I get told all the time, you gotta take less hours on the court. I'm like, nah, man, I can't.
Yeah.
I love being on the court. I love it.
Yeah, and I can attest to you're not just. I've talked to some of your members who have shown up to watch you play, and they really. I think that what somebody came. She came with like a whole crew. She had like 4 or 5 kids with her, and came to watch you play in Raleigh, and that was great. You and Josh won that match. I forget who you beat, but it was a very fun match. It was it was at Seven Oaks.
We beat Mike Ladd. Well, I don't know if I want to out him, but we beat Mike Ladd and Philippe Adams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seven Oaks.
Yeah, it was a great match. Davis Felts, what about you? How does that maybe differ a little bit?
He works harder than I do.
Yeah, he works really hard. That sounds really hard. That's a lot harder than me too. So I'll put myself in that boat. So
if you are the head pro and you aspire to be more than that at any time, don't do it. I'm the head pro might not make as much as a director, but I do. I won't say I do nothing because I send so many text messages that and emails. It's insane.
Yeah.
But my actual job description is I show up and I teach tennis lessons. I get the power of, hey, oh, you don't like that? Well, please take it up with the director, which is great. Nice. It's just a scapegoat. Nice. Anytime I want to. I'm sure people do that to Davis, which is fun. For him. But yeah, I show up and I teach lessons. I started at Seven Oaks as I think my technical job title was the adult tennis coordinator. That was, I don't even know what I was supposed to do, but it was supposed to get, adult clinics and stuff. And we did that. And then Davis left and then another guy left and things happened. And now my job title is the head pro, the head professional of tennis. Yeah. And so I do have some responsibility. We have a new guy. I get to help train him, which is kind of fulfilling, I guess. But other than that, it's not much. I do a lot of our events with our director, the head director. We kind of do it a lot. I enjoy that. But I worked at a country club, and when you're not the director at a country club, there's a lot of sitting around sometimes. And that's just more time for me to get in trouble or break something or play with the stringing machine and see how tight a racket can go. Which that pro lady's doing like 90 pounds. That's insane.
90 pounds?
Did you guys see that?
No, it doesn't break the frame.
I don't know who it was. It was the Instagram reel because that's
what is she playing with? That's a massive marketing, stunt.
Yeah, maybe the TI 66 or S6 or whatever. That thing that every high school girl that doesn't know how to play tennis plays with. But yeah, that So I didn't like that. I wanted to get back on court a little bit more. I'm sure one day I'll have to take the director's position or something. My wife wants 4 kids, so those are expensive.
Okay, yeah, you're gonna have to take that job. Yeah,
it's not gonna happen. Don't tell her I said that, but yeah, I teach a lot of lessons. I'm kind of in charge of our junior yellow ball program, which is growing and good. And so I send a lot of text messages for that. The kids are getting into tournaments, which makes more work for me, which is fine. I don't mind doing it, but it's, you get, when the kids get better, you get more text messages. I'll put it like that.
So, what's a yellow ball tournament or league, whatever that is? What is that?
Junior stuff now is age wise. It's or red ball, which is 8 and under. We usually start. I mean, I've had a kid that was 3 years old who was like one of the best athletes I've ever seen. And
wow.
and like you're just like, oh, he just picks up the racket and hits the ball. Cool.
Yeah.
Otherwise, 5, 6 seems to be the
Yeah.
age where they get into it. To
Mm-hmm.
8, and then 8 to 10 is orange. Red balls are, I don't know, bigger than a regular tennis ball you would play with, and
Okay.
very, very, very soft and sometimes foam. Orange balls are, let's say, 75% pumped up or
Okay.
25% pumped up, and then
Okay.
they have an orange dot on them, or they're half
Okay.
orange. Green ball is the next one. It's 10 to 12.
Yeah.
It just allows them not to have to do a
Mm-hmm.
height thing. Most of these little kids, we don't want the ball out of their strike zone. You see these
It'll,
young kids,
yeah.
yep, their grip starts to
Bounce
turn
over
really
their head.
western because
Yeah.
they go to yellow ball too soon, and then
Yeah.
now they're hitting it with a full western grip kind of above their head a lot,
Yeah.
which isn't great for their development. And then
Yeah.
yellow ball is, 13 and older. It's what you play with as an adult, and
Yeah.
it's what we just classify as that.
So when you have these clinics, you'll have to let me know because I'm apparently supposed to start with the red ball when my hand's
Right.
ready. So you just let me know and I'll come out and play with the 3-year-olds and we'll hit together. It'll be great.
That'll be fun.
Role model.
Yeah, I can. I'm serious though. I'm actually supposed to start with the red ball. That's what Jeff, I think it's Vega, was telling me. He's like, don't start with the yellow ball. It's gonna hurt. You gotta get a red dot ball.
Yeah, go with that. They used to do a
Yeah.
beer league in Raleigh where you would sign up and you would show up and play. It'd be their court is a half of a tennis court turned sideways, right? And you would drink some beers and play red ball tennis with other adults with little kids' rackets. It was fun to watch.
I'm ready for that. I'm ready for that. Awesome. Well, let's wrap up this segment real quick. Each of you, in like one sentence or less, what's one piece of, if you could leave us all with one piece of coaching tennis advice to wrap up this kind of segment, what would you tell us?
You got it, Davis.
Yeah, Davis, go first.
I would say my biggest piece of advice or coaching for a USTA player or listener would be to just love the game. Don't put too much pressure on yourself on the wins and the losses. Have fun. Enjoy the game.
That's good advice. Davis Felts, what about you?
So I don't say the same thing as him, which is it is the most important thing, right? If
It
you don't
is,
love
yeah.
this,
What's the second thing? Yeah, well, we'll do the second thing. Second piece of advice, yeah.
You need a good pair of shoes and a decent racket and strings, and the rest of it doesn't matter. I mean, there's so many people that we sell stuff. We send people to Brian's Tennis. We send people to our pro shops. We send people everywhere. Part of our job, but no amount of having 6 rackets in your bag is going to make you a good player. If you show up, my friend and I used to joke that the guy that shows up to your matches who's got a ratty t-shirt and shorts on and a racket and a water bottle, just one racket and one water bottle, you go home. It doesn't need to be on your record. But if the guy shows up with one of those 12-pack bags and 2 wristbands on, there's a chance. He could be the worst player you've ever seen. So don't just think you have to be the best dressed and you have to show up and look the best to be decent at tennis or have fun.
That was one of my favorite things as a junior. My dad made me play with Mizuno rackets. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of those.
Oh my Lord.
Did you guys get them at Walmart?
He still plays with, the man still plays with them. He made me play with Mizuno rackets, and I had we had money and stuff, and I didn't look too but I had these old rackets, and I would show up against the guy with the kid with the 12 rackets and everything. And that was my favorite player to beat because they would look good in warm up and they look great, and me just hacking it. I've been a hack the whole time. And then I beat them 1-1, and they just disintegrated after I got the 6th ball back. And I just loved it.
Sounds like me last year, Matt.
No. You had good. Yeah, no. These kids would go home crying. You didn't cry.
Oh, he did. He actually
not on the court. Not on the court.
He cried at home. Oh, so that was one of my favorite things to see. But okay, let's get into our next segment. I want to talk about some plugs. So we did want to plug the Ebony tournament that happened a couple weeks ago. We had some really good matches. So we had Kevin and Max had 3 sets against Lefty Sean, and I think I know it. Mark Peterson. I feel like I know him, but I don't think I've ever met him. But they won in the 3rd set, and then also Tyler and Christopher Green won in the 3rd set in their first round, and eventually fell to the overall winners, Kwame and Ezra, 3 and 2, and unfortunately for Max and Kevin, Kwame and Ezra just kind of rolled right through them 1 and 1.
They should be DQ'd immediately from 4-0.
Yeah,
I like both of them.
Yeah, I can't imagine they'll be staying there much longer. I would expect them both to get the bump next year, but they had a very good tournament. And a shout out to Sean Berman, who won the consolation 4-0. So wanted to congratulate everyone on some great tournament results. Davis Felts, what about you? What do you want to plug? I heard you might have a tournament coming up in the near future.
Yeah, Seven Oaks, we do a yearly adult tournament that is open to anyone to sign up. It's the Seven Oaks Adult Open. If you go to the USTA has it updated, hopefully for the rest of the year. Sometimes it seems like it's there and goes away, but you can sign up and play. It's a great tournament. We start on Thursday night. We do a lot of beer. Friday night we do food. Saturday we do lunch. And if you want to just come watch. It's a good time. I think last year, was it you who almost started a fight?
Yeah, that was us. Awesome. We talked about it the first episode. That was epic. It was very epic, yes.
So it's competitive. We don't do it for ratings, which some people like because they're sandbagging, but it doesn't affect your rating. It's just go out and let's compete and play. Some people say it's too hot. It is July 25th through 28th, I think, this year. I guess I should have known that. But you know what?
We'll post it in the chat. We'll post it in the chats. Yeah.
But it is, I think, the most fun tennis in Raleigh. It's $50 a person, which some people have been like, oh, that's expensive. But if you're going to go for 4 days and you're going to eat, you're going to drink, we think it's probably the best deal you can have and have fun in around. Other than that, we don't have a lot. We do a lot of stuff for like members. We're doing a lot of member stuff. We do some member guest stuff. So be on the lookout for that. Maybe I'll have to reach out. But as the person who runs these things, I don't always get to play in them. But when I do, it's a good time. So
since it's an unsanctioned tournament, if someone were to sign up as an alias, how much trouble would they get in for? If maybe someone wanted to play in a 3-0 tournament.
Well, it's one of those things where I can't see out of my right eye. So if I just turn this way.
Yeah, maybe we'll talk about that. Yeah, we'll see. I don't want to get anyone in trouble, but I would absolutely play right-handed 3-0.
Last year we had 2 guys in wheelchairs play 3-0.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, and they played well. I would not want to play against them because it's one of those things you lose to them. Everybody's like, "What happened?" And they make balls, dude. They go out there and
man.
You might think they are slow or whatever, but they get around. I was so impressed. It was like, this is the most entertaining thing I've seen in tennis recently. So
I have no fear. I'll take them on. I'll take them. I'm ready for it. Davis Humphries, what do you guys got going on?
So we have a USTA sanctioned tournament happening in the middle of August. I think you and Nick played in that last year.
And we won.
And you guys did win it. That's right. Yep. So we're having the same one this year,
awesome.
Middle of August, trying to get a little bit more signups than we did last year. I think our mixed division actually did pretty well, but the men's doubles division was a little lacking. We're trying to do a lot more marketing this year for that. We also have some open pickleball tournaments that we're doing, one in September. I think it's the first weekend of September. Yep.
That's awesome. I'm in. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Tournament in the first weekend of November. So September and November, open pickleball tournaments. Be on the lookout for those. We use pickleballden.com. It's not a plug, but we use them.
Okay.
All of our tournaments will be on there.
Okay. I am absolutely going to check this out. I've been picking up pickleball, loving it. It's very exciting.
It's fun. Yeah, it's awesome.
Boo. Oh, we got a boo. Aren't you in charge of pickleball too?
No, that's him.
Oh, okay. So you're anti-pickleball over there, Davis Felts. Okay.
I'm not anti-pickleball. I hope the technology gets there where it's quieter. That's my only thing.
That's
I
true.
teach on the courts next to the pickleball courts at Seven Oaks. And besides grown men playing shirtless all the time, which, hey, if you're a grown man and you're playing in public, shave your chest.
Yeah. Right. Or wear a shirt.
Or wear a shirt. But hey, it's one of those things when you play with people that know how to play, it's fun.
Yeah.
If you're playing with people that don't know how to play, I'd rather just play ping pong so I don't have to sweat as much.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it is actually a scientific fact that the pickleball sound is like on the same frequency as like a dump truck like backing up. Like it is scientifically proven to be a terrible sound. So I know they are working on that. Yeah, there is some science behind that, and it is a very annoying sound. So I know they're working on it, but that's fair. Those are some great plugs. And yes, Davis Humphries, we only had a few. I think we had 3 or 4.
3?
Yeah, there's only 3. So let's make sure we get those plugged in all the chats and get everyone, because I know we can get those numbers up. It was a great tournament. Both those tournaments were fantastic. Had a great time at both. Highly recommend them. You may even see Righty Matt out there. Who knows? Who knows? All right. So we talked a little bit about this, but I wanted to get into it a little bit. Some of us are club curious, and maybe you guys can talk to us a little bit about maybe what are some of the advantages, what are some of the bonuses of maybe joining a club and having and doing that. So maybe Davis, you can go first.
I would say probably the biggest and most important factor of joining a club is the access, right? I think the big thing when you have a public facility, you're not guaranteed access. Whether we're talking courts, pros, clinics, access to just balls in general. I know some public facilities don't even sell balls. Like a club, you walk in the pro shop, we got balls for you. You want pickleball balls, you want clay court balls, you want hard court balls, you want any kind of balls, we got it, right?
Yeah.
So like I would say access is probably we got balls, baby.
I'm waiting for someone to jump in.
This guy's so proud of his balls. It's crazy.
I'm very proud of my balls, man. All right. They're groomed, So anyways.
Yeah, great.
Anyways, Manscaped, that's an ad, bro. That's an ad. No. So like access the courts to the pros. Like another thing is like the public facilities. I'm just using Millbrook as an example. You can't. I don't know how many pros are over there. If you have access to a pro, but I mean, you get my phone number. Boom, I got you in a lesson. I can get you connected. You want to play on a team? I got you. I'll get you connected. Type stuff. So I think that's a big factor for it. I mean, the other thing is you get to play on leagues. You can play on leagues out of the facility that you're a member of. You don't have to go play at Lions Park one week, Optimus Park another week, Millbrook another week, right? You get to go to the same place for those home matches. And then, access to events, like Davis said when he was plugging some of the stuff that they do for members. Those are members only. So those are the fun, kickback, relaxed events that you may not be able to access when you're not a member. So I think there are a lot of factors that are benefits, and there are definitely some that are not benefits. I'm gonna let Davis say those.
Okay, Davis. Davis thinking of the shitty parts.
Have you ever spent $30,000 a year on tennis?
No.
No, my club is not that expensive. Look, Seven Oaks is, I think the initiation is $4,000, and then the yearly cost is $1,200. It's not expensive. If I could afford it. So hey, but there's a lot of good things. My boss talks a lot about the member experience, and I think I think that's the thing that matters. You show up, there's a guy there that knows who you are. You feel good. We have people, again, like I said earlier, play 7 days a week, and then it becomes their entire social life, which at some point is weird. But, it's a place you can go on a Friday night and have a couple beers and play some tennis or play some pickleball and enjoy that. And you don't have to worry about, what is it they do in Durham? Oh, gunshots.
Yeah. So that I was about to point out, that's a really huge advantage is not getting shot. I was talking with Davis Felts before. I actually just joined. I live in North Durham. I would join either of your guys' club if I was anywhere in the vicinity. I'm North Durham. It's a 40 minute drive. So I just joined the Hope Valley YMCA because I was playing last night, the righty match, and we like to call them fireworks, but the fireworks were very, very close. Like I even thought I heard some screaming, and there was like 10 of us, and we all just like none of us were phased, and I was like, this isn't normal. Like I don't want to do this anymore. It's just like, I'm just not into getting shot. So that's a huge plus. But I mean, let me ask you, how many times have you heard gunshots around your clubs?
We're actually at 17 times. And so I think that's a...
Oh, wow.
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, never. You know, I'm on Creedmoor Road in Raleigh. You can hear the airport.
Man, okay.
Kids are like, same. Yeah. Kids are like, what's that? And I'm like, it's an airplane, bud. But that's it. You know, it is nice. We still have issues. People still break into people's cars. If you go to a tennis court, your car's going to get broken into because they know that you're not carrying your purse onto the tennis court. There's still issues. I mean, some clubs pretend to be something that they're not. You know, some clubs are. Look, if you're into high performance and you're an adult who wants to be pushed really hard, okay, club. If you want to have unlimited amount of beers and no one say anything, go to Springdale. I don't think that's slander. I just think it's true. Springdale is
nothing
fantastic.
wrong with that.
Yeah. That's their vibe, and I hate the word vibe, but that's what they do. You know, they're the most relaxed club. They're you know, instead of being whatever North Hills and Carolina Country Club are, they're $800,000 a year, and everybody has a good time. So I think you don't have to be a Carolina Country Club. You don't have to be a Seven Oaks if you don't want to. There is a club for you. There's a lot of these neighborhood courts. You know, I pass Stonehill or Greystone every day on the way to work. It's $750 a year.
Yeah.
You know, it might seem like a lot, but when you break it over 12 months and stuff, for good courts and good people, it's probably worth it if this is the thing you want to do. Like if that's where you want the money to go.
Yeah. That's great. The other thing neither of you mentioned is one thing that I noticed. So Indiana, clay courts weren't a thing. And I've noticed that clay courts are like at every single club. And so I haven't played enough, and I'm hoping to play more now that I joined the Hope Valley YMCA. Is it actually true that playing on clay really does like help you feel better after?
If you teach on clay for 10 hours, it doesn't hurt your body as much as teaching on a hard court for 10 hours.
Just about to say that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing 10 hours on court a day anymore, thankfully. But yeah, when you're on a hard court a lot, you can feel it. I think people over exaggerate it. Yeah. We have members that are like, hey, if I got to play on a hard court, I'm just not going to come. Yeah. And it's a clinic that they do every week, or it's, you know, people show up to play matches and they're like, well, I didn't bring my hard court shoes. And it's like, hey man, there's an option to play on hard. So let's suck it up. People in California don't seem to be playing a lot on clay courts, and they're, you know, they still have 70-year-olds playing. Yeah. They make softer hard courts. I think those are better than, there's a lot of really bad clay courts in the area. So, you know, I'd rather play on a hard court than a bad clay court 10 out of 10 times.
Interesting.
Yeah, I would say that I grew up on clay. I learned how to play tennis on a clay court. So I personally I prefer clay court over hard courts when I'm playing, and I would actually take a bad clay court over a hard court. Okay. And that's partially just because of I feel comfortable sliding. I enjoy sliding on a court, but when it comes to, I just think the clay has to, if we're talking again back to what a member would want, the clay has to be, it's just, I'd rather manage a facility that has all hard courts than manage a facility with clay courts. It's just, I can't tell you how many times like my brain just explodes. Oh, sorry, you can't play because the clay courts are wet. They're closed for 7 hours so they can dry.
Whoa.
Hello? Yeah. And then the hard courts will be ready in 45 minutes. So you'll have a hard court. But it's crazy. It's so much. It's so hard to manage. You got to manage the water levels, and that's if you have an underground system. If you have an overground system, you have to close the courts for 2 hours because you got to water them. Like every, what is it? I don't know the exact numbers, Davis, but I think it's like every 2 hours, right? Or every 4 hours, maybe. They have to be watered, especially in the summer.
So in the summer, dude, I mean, the court's dry. It's just one of those things. And if you don't water them the right way, when I was at Crowsdale and Durham, you know, the sprinkler didn't work sometimes. And so you're out there just with your hand turning it like this. And you're trying to get that one spot, and it just won't hit it. And so it's just one of those things. The courts dry quickly. I know when I was at Raleigh Racket Club, we would have a junior clinic, and they would be trying their best to get the courts dry before it. And you're just like, there's not much you can do when the system is above ground. Seven Oaks has all underground watering system, so the water comes from underground, and it kind of sinks into the
Makes
court
sense.
gradually. So but the problem with those is they freeze. The above ground doesn't freeze as bad.
Oh.
So
Huh.
clay has a lot of work that goes into it. There's apps that you can sit at your home and play with the app and water the courts in the middle of the night if you want to.
Oh, that's fun. You could just sit around and just water the courts?
Yeah, and then you've watered them too much and everyone's mad.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you have to make sure that when the clay gets soft, you have to roll it. So you have to get this massive roller, put it on a golf cart, ride it around. And then you have to sweep it so that they can slide on it and it looks grainy, or you can rake it. And then you have to do the lines. And then it's just a lot of managing when it comes to clay courts. If you own a hardcore facility, I show up to work, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Like when I show up to work with clay courts, I have to be there like an hour earlier than I would need to groom the courts, do the lines and stuff like that. So it's definitely it's nice. It's a good benefit. I love to play on it, but managing it is can be a nightmare sometimes.
That's why you're paying the fees, so you guys can do it and I can go play.
Correct.
Yeah,
Davis,
that's great. Mm-hmm.
Yo,
2 of our kids are playing each other right now. That's just a side note. This doesn't have to be in the podcast if Matt doesn't want to be.
Well,
Lillian is playing Isabel, and this is the part of like when you start getting kids that are competitive and stuff. It's 10 o'clock, and you're just waiting for a text message from a parent to be like, "All right, it was good," or "Okay," expect some tears and stuff like that. But I was looking at the scores and I just noticed they were playing each other.
Wait, how do you check did someone text you the scores, or how do you know the scores?
The scores aren't in, but it's just one of those, you can look at the draws and stuff.
Oh, there's a tournament going on right now.
Yeah, for juniors. It's Carolina Country Club did one that started on a Thursday and ends on a Friday, so.
Okay. So, well, they're not in school. I was thinking, don't they have to go to school? But kids don't go to school in the summer. I forgot.
Yeah.
Wait, did they play at 8 o'clock?
Yeah, they were supposed to start at 8. There's a 2-hour delay, so
they're playing right now.
They're either playing right now or they're playing in the morning. I didn't.
Yo,
that's too late. That's too late for anyone to start at 10. That's too late.
And the people look. This is one of those things that you don't realize if you don't work in tennis. If the tennis tournament starts at 8 a.m., I'm there at 6:30.
Yeah,
and it's just I'm getting tables out and doing all this stuff, and the second day is not as bad, but so I feel bad for whoever's working.
Oh, that's rough, not getting home late. Oh man. All right. So we've asked a lot about clubs. We've gotten some clay court. Let's just wrap this up with a couple of questions about you guys. So Davis Felts, when did you start playing tennis?
I think I wanted a tennis racket somewhere in between the age of 10 and 12. And then somehow I ended up getting like a week's worth of lessons, and then from like the high school tennis coach in the area, and she was like, "You should play when you get in high school." And then I didn't play again until I got into high school. I didn't start trying really until like junior year. I never really took, besides those first lessons, there was no lessons. There was just, you watch YouTube and you just try to figure it out. And my technique was ruined from that. Oh, no. Davis has seen what my forehand used to look like. It was pretty cool. Yeah. I was a Del Potro fan, and don't be a Del Potro fan and try to copy what he does. It doesn't work.
Good idea. I have no idea who that is. This is perfect.
So yeah, good. But yeah, I started and then, tried to get into some college tennis. Spent a year at community college, went to William Peace for 3 years, and then I had to do an internship, ended up at Raleigh Racket Club. And then my eyes were open to just how good people can be at tennis. I would say in college. You're from a small town. I did my senior year of high school. I think I was like 8-6. And I was like, cool. I played one. I was like, dude, I'm pretty good at this. My first college match was a 6'4" Danish or Swedish kid. Yeah. That was eye-opening.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Cool. What about you, Davis Humphries?
Well, I didn't realize how different our stories are. I grew up in the country club life. My parents were playing tennis at a country club in Atlanta, Georgia, and my dad played tennis in college. He played for Bucknell University, and it inspired me to want to play. So I would take, when they would play matches for USTA or whatever they were doing in Atlanta, I would take a racket and hit against the wall, and I got decent enough where my mom was like, look, let's put him in a lesson. Let's see if he's got the talent. I did not have the talent. But the coach was like, look, he seems motivated. Make him quit all sports. So I quit all sports for a year, came back, and then I got into teaching. I got into playing. I got a few lessons, and then I was in their high performance clinic at the club to play tournaments and stuff like that. And then I moved out here, and I was part of the North Hills Tennis Academy until my senior year of high school. Everyone went D1 pretty much but me. Well, I followed the mindset of I wanted to have fun on the court.
Yeah.
I was decent enough to play with some of those kids, but I didn't have the extra stuff that some of those kids had. So I went to Tennessee, played on the club team there, and that's when my eyes were opened to how good some of these other people can be and how fun tennis can be. And then, yeah, that's pretty much how I got into it.
Interesting. Pretty similar. I had a somewhat similar. I maybe could have played D2, some D3, but then I went and visited Indiana University, and I decided that I wanted to drink, and there was a lot of good-looking girls there, so that was my main priority for at least 4 years. And I was like, that seems a little bit more fun than playing tennis.
Yeah, Hampton-Sydney tried to recruit me out of high school, but I wanted to go to the big school and have a fun time.
Exactly. At a very fun time. I played club. Oh, go ahead, Davis.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, if I could go to, I barely went to class, and I had to because I played tennis. My class was, it literally would take me 3 minutes to walk from my bedroom door to my classroom door.
Yeah.
And if my class was at 9, I would wake up at 9:05 and go to class. And
oh wow.
And that was all. Tennis was the only reason I was in school.
Yeah.
And so, Peace didn't have the things that the big schools have. But hey, I had a good time. Yeah, actually, it was an all-girls school before, so thank you for that.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. I was on the club team for 2 weeks, and I remember smashing a racket, and then I was like, I might need a break, and I took 10 years off. And I was like, that was a good amount of time. Yeah. I played with my dad once or twice, but I was like, nah, I think I'm good. But yeah, it sounded so. Davis Felts, you didn't grow up playing any other sports, and there was no sports in your family, right?
I played sports, so I played soccer.
Oh, you played sports? Okay.
Yeah, it was just, I don't know, it was just never on TV. But I played a little bit of soccer. I played, I think, a season of T-ball. Which, hey, look, if you have an 8-year-old boy, don't make him stand in a field and not catch a ball for 2 hours.
Isn't that terrible?
It's the worst. It's stupid.
T-ball should be banned.
Yeah, let him play pickleball. You know what? Let him play that hobby that people think is a sport. And then
right. Yep.
And then maybe one day when people can hit the ball past first base or second or whatever base it is, give them, let them play. But and then I played a season of football. I don't like to be touched. It's my biggest pet peeve. And now I'm a big boy, but I was not a big boy my freshman year of high school.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it when someone my size now hits smaller than me. I was like, this isn't fun. I don't know why people are into this. So I kind of was like, yeah, I'm good.
I agree with you 100%. I never played, no interest. The only other sport I played was in basketball, and I was the big boy in 3rd grade, so I got to play. So like when I play basketball, I play like a center, but I'm 5'9". Yep. So it's like I'm trying to go for a sky hook, and anyone over 6 foot blocks me every time. It's like it doesn't work. Davis Humphries, what about you?
I played a lot of sports as a kid. I played soccer, baseball.
Wow.
I swam a lot. That was probably my biggest sport. So when I quit all sports before I got into tennis, I swam year round. So I was a big swimmer. And then I also was a basketball fan. I was not very good, but I also thought I could do the Dirk post fadeaway. Dirk Nowitzki is one of my favorite players.
Yeah.
And I thought I had that. And then I went to go play in college at pickup.
Yeah.
And this 6'5" guy just sent my shit.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm never playing basketball again.
Yeah.
It's different when you my first day at Peace, we were throwing a football just like at one of those welcome to college things.
Yeah.
And I jumped for a ball. And I remember I was like, golly, that guy overthrew that pretty far. And there was a guy who was on the basketball team, 6'5", and I turned around and his crotch was right here, and I was like, oh, he didn't throw it far. He threw it to someone who's athletic. My bad. That's different.
Yeah. For the audio only folks, his crotch was at his face.
Yeah. Yeah. It was like, welcome to college.
Oh, that's great. Let's see. Tell us, I guess, to get back into switching to tennis a little bit. Do you guys have a favorite league? So, we've got spring, mixed, summer, singles. What's your favorite league to play in? Go ahead, Davis Humphries. Yeah.
My favorite league, and it's controversial, but I like mixed doubles the most.
And so again, audio only. Davis Felts is vigorously shaking his head in disagreement, but that'll be great. We love controversy on the pod, so go ahead, Davis Humphries. Make your pitch. Make your pitch.
Okay, so in club. Remember, this is coming after club tennis, where it's not Davis Cup style. It's like world team tennis style, where it's co-ed. It's girls singles, guys singles, girls doubles, guys doubles, and then a line of mixed. I was the mixed player for my team, and I loved playing mixed because it allowed me to kind of use my net game and my ability to poach and read balls to my advantage. I also really liked hitting really hard shots in the vicinity of a net player. If you guys kind of understand my drift,
he likes to hit ball at women.
No. It's just it's a free point. I mean, I'm just saying, and then it's more on the women's second serve. I can rip the ball at the guy. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. Yeah.
I just think it's the most fun. I think it's the most. It's my honest opinion. I think, especially in Raleigh, I think it's the most competitive. I think that's where most of the I put quotes fights happen, or like disagreements or arguments happen.
I
agree.
Usually
in mixed.
That's fun.
In anything else. So I personally like mixed. I know Davis doesn't, but it's okay. It's whatever.
Davis Felts, what about you?
I hate them all.
You hate leagues.
No, it's cool. 9-5 was fun, especially when I was a 4-0 and I could play with a 5-5. Yeah, that's a great time because you just get to, I guess, dick around and do whatever you want. No, I like pace, and so 9-5 was fun because then I don't have to think, which is why I hate mixed. I don't want to have time to think about what I'm going to do. Yeah. And if I wanted someone to fuss at me for missing a ball, I would just go back to college. No, I struggle with, the part of mixed where like your partner who's a woman wants you to hit the ball hard at the other woman, and I'm like, I work in this. If I hit this woman in the face, because I don't have that kind of control. If I hit this woman in the face, I'm gonna hear about it every day for the next 6 months. Davis has good volleys. Him, not talking to myself in third person. He has good volleys. I'm stiff as a wooden Indian up there. I don't do great, and it's one of those things where it's just like, I will choose to miss the ball before I hit somebody because I don't want to hear about it. Now, if they're being a tool, then whatever.
Yeah. So. Interesting. Yeah. I've played mixed a few times, and it's pretty fun with my serve because you can't get mad at me because it's so slow. Like, you can't be like, slow the serve down. But there's so much spin on it that it's pretty fun. I've seen a lot of women whiff. I was playing Patrick Shields and his wife, Gabby, and we were actually both coaching her on how to deal with my serve. Like, we're like, you got to stand here, because she just couldn't get it. And it was a competitive match. It's like, I'm not going to slow down. And she wouldn't want that. She doesn't want, like, nobody wanted that. But, and I hit her once because I hit a kick and she was so used to the slice, but it was going like 30 miles per hour. So it was just an embarrassment of like, my God, this guy hit me with a 30-mile-per-hour serve. So funny. Mixed has always been, it's an adventure with my serve. But that's good. I think we're hitting the part where Matt gets a little tired, so I think we're going to wrap it up here. I told them at about the 110, 120 mark, I start to get tired. So, and we're pretty much at our last question. I have a limit. Zach, he could talk for like 5 fucking hours. I'm usually the one who's like, hey man, like, we got to wrap this shit up. We got to wrap this shit up. So this has been fantastic, guys. I loved our discussions about all the stuff about clay courts. Who the hell knew about that? Not me. All the great stuff about teaching pros, great advice for everyone. Just to wrap it all up, Davis Felts, what does tennis mean to you?
I'm from a small town. There wasn't, I have no other discernible skill. It was the thing that kept me from, all my friends were skateboarding still and doing drugs. And tennis was just like, hey, I can go out there, I can relax for a couple hours, which does not make you a good competitor, by the way. If tennis is supposed to be relaxing, you're not doing it right. And so that's what it was for me, and it always has been. A lot of stuff can go on, and my wife, who doesn't play tennis, sometimes she's like, why are you going out to play tennis? You've been doing it all week. And I'm like, I just need to go hit the ball, and that's it. And my first couple of years of leagues, my record wasn't great because I was just like, hey, I'm just here to hit the ball and not have to do it with a 2.5. So
yeah, that's great. What about you, Davis Humphries?
So my viewpoint is different than Davis's. I think of tennis, to me, was therapy. So whenever I walked onto the court, it was just me, my opponent, and the ball. I didn't have to worry about school. I didn't have to worry about work. I didn't have to worry about life, right? It was just, I could play the match and play the opponent, play the ball that's being hit to me. That's kind of, I would say, like, a lot of people go to therapy now if they need it. That's great. A lot of people, drink. Please don't, drink responsibly.
Drink responsibly.
So to me, my therapy and the way that I get through stress and get back to being relaxed and being myself is just going out and playing. Beauty of that is I get to do it every day. So I'm always in this kind of Zen mode all the time now. So that's what it means to me.
Those are great answers. Well, I really appreciate both of you coming on the pod. This has been another episode of the Triangle Tennis Podcast. We'll see you next time.